Ms. Brennan, I'm coming to you because I'm very upset with a lack of follow-up from you. And you've taken an advocate, someone who is willing to put in political costs, and you've turned me into someone who questions whether I can trust what you tell this committee, and specifically what you tell me. And you met with me, with Mr. Stroman, back in January. You told me that you would have a business plan, and I said, even if it has the S word for subsidy, I wanted a plan on how we can make the postal system viable long-term. And you said you would get that to me in 10 days. And you know what? 10 days came and went, and I didn't get anything. So we followed back up with you. And we said, where is the plan? And I was told that I would get it in a week. A week came and went, and it didn't come. And I'm looking at your testimony. You don't even have a business plan today, Ms. Brennan. And I guess at what point are we going to get serious about fixing the postal system, and are you going to follow up on the commitments you made to me personally?
Yes, and Congressman Meadows, to be clear, when we met, it was early January, and
January 4th.
And we indicated we would be meeting with our board.
No, you didn't. You've changed the narrative. So did you commit to get me a plan?
Yes, I did.
Do I have that plan?
You do not. It is still a work in progress. And
so how long?
Meadows,
only in D.C. is 10 days, 3 months?
Congressman Meadows, throughout this timeline, as we were continuing to work on a 10-year plan with our board, we kept your office informed.
No, you didn't.
And I personally spoke to your chief of staff a few weeks back.
When we followed up with you because we didn't hear from you, Ms. Brennan, I've got emails to support it.
Then I apologize, Congressman Meadows, because it was my understanding that we were keeping your office informed as we continued to meet with the board each month to work on a 10-year plan.
So how long are we going to have to wait for a plan to come from the board, Ms. Brennan? I mean, we've been dealing with this. It's been in crisis mode for 2 or 3 years. When are we going to have a plan?
And yes, and if this committee had acted and if we were able to pass reform, we'd be in much better position today.
You're changing the goalposts here. You're changing the goalposts, Ms. Brennan. I asked you for a plan to make it solvent long-term.
Fair enough. And we are finalizing a plan that addresses a $125 billion gap, Congressman. That's not something you do overnight. So I apologize if I did not get the plan and
Did you just recently find out that you had this gap?
No, sir.
Neither did I. When we spoke, we knew the crisis we were at, and yet you sat in my office and didn't give me the details and lacked the courtesy of following up to let me know that it was being held up. We had to follow up with you. So how do you take an advocate?
I apologize for that then, Congressman Meadows. I'd like you to remain an advocate. You've been a tireless advocate for the Postal Service, and we need you to continue to support the Postal Service.
I need a plan.
Fair enough.
I need a plan. Even my Democrat colleagues today understand we need a plan. And at what point are we going to get it?
We're in agreement. In fact, I had asked to meet with you, and my understanding is you requested to meet with our governors as opposed to meeting with me.
Actually, the governors reached out to me to meet with me. And so let me just tell you, when we have it, I've met with all these people. You're more connected. You know what's going on. You're more connected than the NSA. And here I'm suggesting that you're taking an advocate and turning them into someone who is become hostile because you're not willing to give us some facts.
Well, I'm going to work on regaining your trust.
So when can I get a plan? You've talked to the Board of Governors, the two of them. When are we going to have a plan?
As I communicated to the chairman and the ranking member, within 60 days was our commitment to ensure that we brief out to this committee leadership as well as our stakeholders.
And so in 60 days, you're going to come up with a plan, which puts us about the August recess where we can't get anything done. Ms. Brennan, I told you, if we're going to act, we have to act now. And your delay is causing a real implication on behalf of the American people. And I'll yield back.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, may I respond to that, please?
Yes, you may respond.
this committee can act now on the core provisions that have been communicated, that have gained broad support among key stakeholders, that will go a long way in putting us on firmer financial footing and giving us some runway, Congressman, to try to build consensus for a plan that will address broader structural issues. As you well know, we need stakeholder consensus in order to move legislation.
We are not going to do a part-time bailout. I think the chairman would agree with me here. We want a plan so you're not back here in 2 years asking for more money.